everybody, welcome back to H&S Collectibles. This is Cody, and so I kind of promised to show this off lately, and now I have the final record to complete it, so we're going to get into it. This is the Halloween Death Waltz Records box set. So this was available a little while back, that you could just buy as a complete set and get the first 5 soundtracks, you know, all in this collectible sleeve. I missed that opportunity because I just wasn't looking at, you know, Mondo or Death Waltz or any of those companies at that time. I was just kind of picking up albums here and there where I found them, and wasn't watching the websites. And of course this was not in the FYE store that I frequent. But here recently I went on Mondo, and you could order parts 4 and 5, and it came with the sleeve. I already had parts 2 and 3, and even though I've had part 1 on CD, and I never had it on cassette, just CD, 3 or 4 different times, 3 or 4 different collections, I never had it on record. So I finally went ahead and ordered that, and I'm happy I did. I've been listening to it non-stop for like 3 days. I've listened to part 2 so long, and I always enjoyed part 2, that I forgot how good part 1 is in its simplicity. It's a little bit more tinny, but just, oh man, it's got mood, so it's good. But the sleeve, we'll start there. So you got this great image of Michael on the front there, with the kind of ghost of, you know, 6-year-old Michael standing in front of him. I just really like that image. Of course, the name on the end there, Death Waltz Record. You've got the pumpkin mask with the snakes and bugs and what have you crawling out of it. And then on the back you've got Jamie from the end of part 4, with kind of the specter of Michael floating over her. Nothing top and bottom. And let's see, we'll slide the records out, and if I can show you the inside a little bit. This is going to be tough. The inside is lined. See if I can move my lighting around a little bit for you. So the inside, yeah, you just, I'm not going to be able to do it. A little bit there. You can see a little bit there at the bottom. The inside is lined with newspaper about Haddonfield, Halloween, the sanitarium. You can see some of those words in there. So that's just kind of a nice touch, that it's not just a blank interior to the box. It's tinted red, and so that's just a nice little detail that I wish I was set up to show you a little bit better, but unfortunately I'm not. So now we'll just kind of start rattling through the records. So here we go, looking at part 1. From what I could tell, there's a few different covers that you can get, and this is the one that I ended up with, of Michael kind of looking through a rain-soaked window. I like that. It's creepy. I think it would serve better probably as like a gatefold image, but yeah, it's cool. I like it. At this point I was just happy to have it. So this is the 40th anniversary edition, and yeah, there's Michael looking through the curtain on the back. Track listings. It's a single album release, and I always save these. They put them on the edges of the Mondo records. And then this gatefold image. You've got the Welcome to Haddonfield sign, and then the fog. It almost looks like this would be a better image, you know, like if the church from the fog was here and you had that might work better. So yeah, this one, I just don't know about the artwork overall, but yeah. So I guess I'll quit complaining there. And then the actual album for part 1 that I got was the clear with black and orange splatter. I like the label. I like how you've got the little clown mask there on the cover. But then it's just, you know, pumpkin on the back. I kind of like it when they put a picture on the back, but yeah, we'll take what we get. I like how it looks, and it does sound great. Next up, we have Halloween 2, and I do like this cover art. I think it's very interesting. You've got Michael with the bleeding eyes there, him standing inside the operating door at the bottom, Dr. Loomis there. I really dig that one. And then the back, of course, single album release again. They're all single album, not doubles. And then the inside of this I really like. You got the nurses, you've got the ambulance driver, Lori holding the gun, him raising the nurse up off the ground, and of course Dr. Loomis. So there was also an insert with this one from a little bit of a write-up from the Alan Howarth, however you say his name. Don't know which it is. And then just a little bit of credits to Carpenter and Howarth and what equipment they used to make the score. And then for part 2, the album itself is just orange. Again with, you know, kind of regular labels front and back. Next up is Halloween 3 from Death Waltz. So I think I've got a whole separate video on this one. In fact, I think I do on part 2 and as well, when I was showing them one at a time on Vinyl Tuesdays. But this one is fun. You know, so here's the name on the end, and then along the other ends are little questions. Trick-or-treat questions. Why didn't the jack-o'-lantern go trick-or-treating? And if you flip around to the different sides, you get the different answers. And this has got to be the most interesting one that I have in terms of packaging, how it opens. You flip it over on the back, and the whole thing flips out. And there's a letter from Silver Shamrock in here on how to do a magic trick with these big cards that it comes with. And inside of all the packaging is this sleeve with the pumpkin graphics. And then inside of it is finally the album. And I have the orange and black variant, so I think I've seen orange and green maybe. There's 2 or 3 different versions at least of this out there, and I've got orange with the black center. And this is what I was talking about with different labels on the B side. Silver Shamrock Novelties. I just really like it when they do that. It's a nice touch. Next up is Halloween 4, and you got Michael on the cover, you know, with the house kind of shining through him, and Jamie down there at the door. I really like that cover art. Of course, they're kind of showing off the scars on his hand, and I think it's a very good take on the mask from part 4. I just really like that. And on the back there's Dr. Loomis, of course, with his burn marks, Jamie from the end, Michael looking through the window, track listing, and then Michael's, you know, kind of specter over the town and some bats flying away. So yeah, that's it for the cover art. So this one came with an insert as well. I like this image. This is kind of a cool drawing of when Michael grabs the mask in the store. And then flip it over a little bit. It's got a little bit of a just a write-up from a guy who J. Blake Fischera, who apparently has written a book on horror's composers. And then for the actual record itself, I like this one. Red and white, like the clown suit that Michael wore when he was a boy and Jamie wore in the movie. And there's her mask with the pumpkin on the nose. That one's pretty cool, and it looks good while it's spinning too. And lastly, we have Halloween 5. I think I don't know, there could have been better choices for that cover art, but that's still kind of cool. 5 is probably my least favorite, but the music is good. I always hated that mask. Man, I hated that mask. But yeah, the music is pretty good. This probably would have been a good answer for the soundtrack tag when I said when the question was name a horrible movie with a great soundtrack. And then just kind of a forestscape with Michael there in the distance. Not much to the gatefold. This one also came with an insert, which is really just kind of credits. And a little bit of a write-up again by Fischera, who wrote the write-up that was in part 4. And the album itself for part 5 is blue and white to represent Michael's coveralls and his mask. So that's kind of cool, kind of a cool idea. You know, at least it wasn't another orange one. I think even my single record Halloween 2018 is orange. So yeah, that's it for the albums and the sleeve itself. So that's my Halloween 1 through 5 collection. I do wish that it could have had part 6 as well. That way you'd have the first 3 and then the Thorn trilogy all in one, but yeah, it is what it is, and I'm glad I was able to pick it up. And at really no extra cost. So I think this was about $150 when it came out with the 5 albums in it, and I've been able to pretty much piece it together for that same price. So yeah, that's it for now. Like and subscribe if you haven't, and I'll talk to you later. Thanks.